Howdy, howdy, folks. It is Diecastbuffet here again. Denny Hamlin wins, well, one of the most uneventful and, in my opinion, the worst Bristol night race I have ever watched. Congratulations to the Hamlin fans. I don't know if they're going to be making the race win diecast or not, so you'll have to see about that one if it makes pre-order, but you can go ahead and pre-order that. Of course, from our friends over there at Circle B Diecast, don't know if a 164 is going to get made, don't know if a 124 is going to get made, but regardless, they'll have a pre-order up for that most likely. But we got some spicy opinions. I'm halfway asleep, so let's go ahead and talk about it. Wow, short track racing is dead in the Cup Series. You know, it's interesting. Last year, the Bristol night race was pretty bad, but the thing that spiced it up was the tire failures. I don't think we had a single tire failure the entire Cup race this year. Nothing happened. Maybe 2 cautions for incident. I mean, what happened to the days when we would have 15 different crashes at Bristol and it felt like every lap they're on the edge of control and they're crashing and beating and banging? It looked like I was watching a 500-lap practice session. The short track racing is dead, the Cup Series. The ARCA race, the Truck Series, and the Xfinity Series was a million times better than this event. When I did my pre-race thing on my Instagram at Diecastbuffet, I said those 3 series are going to have a much better show in the Cup Series, and sure enough, it was true. Not that I know what I'm talking about, not at all, but it's blatantly obvious. Last year's race was exactly the same. Yes, you had a Chris Buescher win, a very fan-friendly type of driver. A lot of people like him. But the racing quality was crap. I mean, it's embarrassing how bad the short tracks are. And my love for Cup Series racing at short tracks is dead. It's dead. I could care less. They could take Bristol, Martinsville, Richmond, Wilkesboro, all of that off of the Cup schedule. Cup schedule. Let me keep that in focus. Cup schedule. But keep it on the Xfinity. Keep it in the ARCA and Truck Series. That's just my honest opinion. Get rid of these short tracks. They suck so badly in the Cup Series. It's embarrassing. 500 laps at Bristol where there's hardly any contact racing. Freight train, single file runs. This is not the Bristol I grew up with, okay? I'm talking about Sprint Cup. We're talking about Nextel Cup. We're talking about even a little bit of the Monster Energy Cup Series. We're talking about Winston Cup racing. I mean, what happened to Bristol, man? And the fact that they're going to get rid of the Bristol dirt race next year to have 2 of these things. Holy cow, that's going to be awful to watch. Wow. I figured they would keep the dirt race, even though a lot of people don't like it. But it's a much better racing product than what I saw tonight. And I almost guarantee you, it's going to be very similar next year. People say, oh, just give it another chance. They fixed the short track package. They're going to come up with another BS story about it, how they fixed the short track package and they made a tweak here and a tweak there. Guys, it's the physical mass of these cars I'm afraid of. It's not going to get fixed. You could put horsepower in it. You could change the rear diffuser. You could change the spoiler. You could change the splitter. Heck, you could paint the car bright pink. I don't care. It's not going to fix it. The Gen 7 car, from the chassis to the body to the gearbox, everything about this car is a sports car. I don't think it's a coincidence that they're thinking about running Mazda sports cars, or roadsters, or coupes, whatever the biff they call them, at Martinsville. They're already running sports cars. Let's run Mazdas. Why not? I'm not even kidding. These are legit sports cars, and they race like legit sports cars. I mean, it's not even watching the same sport. I mean, it's like trying to compare baseball to football. It's 2 complete disciplines. When you look at the Cup Series race and then you look at the Xfinity race, and one of them's like, man, it's old school Bristol. They're running the bottom. They're beating and banging. They're going at it. You got drivers making dumb mistakes. Drivers are PO'd. And then you watch the Cup race. I don't care who wins it, but it's just like, there's nothing. It is so bad. Short track racing is so bad right now. Feels up to me, get rid of all these short tracks until the next generation car or whenever they can get a complete redo of the whole thing. I see people in so many different comment sections on so many different videos talking about the next-gen car. Everybody has a different opinion about it and a different idea about it, and I respect y'all's opinions. But I am like certain that changing a diffuser or changing a different tire compound or a 50 more horsepower is not going to net any difference. It is the Gen 7 car. I'm just keeping it real. I'm just keeping it real. Explain to me how they can run like a 12 or 13 car field at Stafford for the SRX series. Maybe an 80 to 100 lap race. And they have 10 times more action passing, beating, and banging than a 500 lap race at Bristol. I'm just keeping it real. It's embarrassing how bad short track racing is. And I mean, we could have watched Kentucky Speedway and it would have been a better show. You could have watched Texas Motor Speedway. Say what you want to say about how bad Texas Motor Speedway is, which it is, trust me. It's a million times better racing than what we have saw this year at Martinsville, at Bristol, at Wilkesboro, all these different tracks. And I said last year, Bristol would have been a very, very boring race to most people, but the tire failures kept bringing out cautions and kept mixing it up. Martinsville last year in the playoffs would have been a very boring race if it wasn't for Chastain's move and it being a playoff race. It would have been a 350 lap green flag run. Hamlin would have probably won it, but everybody forgets how boring the actual racing was. They just remember the finish. You know? I mean, how many people remember Christopher Bell actually won Martinsville? I'm just saying, they just remember about Chastain's finish. They don't want to remember, I guess, how crappy the short track racing is. If you enjoy, look, more respected power to you, because as a diehard NASCAR fan, holy cow, it's hard to watch. I was hoping the rain would just come through and just end this freaking race already. It was that bad. Worst Bristol race I have ever seen. I'm keeping it real, guys. Keeping it real. Holy cow, man. And I've been saying this, you know, last week, the racing's going to be good. And the first couple races, ARCA, Trucks, Xfinity. But once it gets to Saturday night, it's going to stink. And sure enough, it did. Look how good the racing was last week at Kansas in the Cup Series. Fantastic racing. And then they go to a short track and it's just nosedive. I don't know, man. I'm so done with short tracks. I don't care about the tradition, the heritage of it. The racing is so bad at short tracks. Just go to the 1.5 miles until the Gen 7 era ends in a decade and then start bringing it back. Run the short tracks in the lower series. Let them, you know, help promote it and fund it. Find a way to make that happen. Have some Cup drivers come back down there. I don't know, whatever it takes. Get them out of the Cup Series schedule. The fact that they're going to run the concrete next year at both races is bad. It's bad. I'm just keeping it real, man. It would take a cornucopia of changes to get this car to run right. I mean, you probably wouldn't even be able to identify it's a Gen 7 car with the amount of changes needed to bring short track racing back. I know it doesn't make sense logistically. I wish they would just bring the Gen 6 cars back for the short track stuff. Gen 7's perfect at 1.5 miles. It is the best racing we've seen there since COT, high horsepower, or even Gen 4. Sorry for ranting, but boy, that race was bad. They need to just get rid of these short tracks. Just cut the road courses down. Go back to the 1.5 mile cookie cutters. They're the best form of racing every single next gen race. It's the best form. It's not even debatable anymore. So I'm tired. Tired of short tracks too, which is crazy because 10 years ago, everybody hated 1.5 mile racing. Everybody loved short tracks, and now it's completely upside down. What do you all think, guys? My opinion does not matter, so I'm just a jabroni harping on camera. Make sure to comment down below if you enjoyed the race. Hats off to you and to all the Hamlin fans. Congratulations. Hamlin easily could have won all 3 races in this round. I did pick Christopher Bell before the playoffs started to win this race. He had a great run, not enough to win. And next race is going to be Texas Motor Speedway. I think it's going to be a lot more fun. Hopefully it's got some crashes, some drama. Oh boy, I'm not even looking forward to the Charlotte Roval race. That race is going to be awful. I'm telling you, man. Short tracks, road courses, it's like a shovel, man. Just throw it out. It's no good in the Cup Series anymore, man. That's all for now, guys. Have a blessed one. Diecast Buffet. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe. Sign off.